Australian police have begun searching unsealed mine shafts near the remote property where 4-year-old Gus Lamont went missing in late September. Let's bring in former homicide detective Gary Dribbelin for more on this now. Gary, good morning. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. You've got incredible insight when it comes to these kinds of searches. It's been 60 days since he first went missing, little Gus. Why are they only now searching the mine shafts over there?
They've always indicated that they're going to look at all possibilities. I think the fact that they've extended the search to mine shafts is indicative of the fact that they're looking at possible intervention, human intervention, because it would be unlikely that Gus would be able to make his way that far. So I think it's a slight shift that they're looking at all possibilities and there might be some form of intervention in Gus's disappearance.
It's such hostile earth, right? It's such a hostile environment. What is it in particular that mystifies police so dramatically with this particular case? Is it the environment?
The environment is a contributor, but I think the fact that they haven't got any evidence at this stage, and that's why they're broadening the search. So they're looking for any possibility of obtaining some information that might give them an idea on what happened to Gus.
It's been 60 days. How much closer are you to any kind of evidence, any kind of answers?
This is a grind part of an investigation where police will be reviewing the information they've got, analysing what they've got and looking at other possibilities. So it's a tough time, I would suggest, 60 days in.
Yeah, this search will take 3 days in this particular part of the area. Where do they go next?
I think they would look back at all the information they've got and explore all opportunities, but the fact that they're searching so far away from where Gus first disappeared suggests to me they're looking at possible intervention.
Yeah, all right, Gary, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
They get some answers soon, especially for the family.
In the vast, unforgiving outback of South Australia, a small boy vanished without a trace. 4-year-old Gus Lamont disappeared near the remote Oak Park station, leaving investigators, volunteers, and an entire community desperate for answers. Weeks of painstaking searches have combed every inch of scrubland, dams, and even treacherous mine shafts. But still, Gus remains missing. Today, for the first time, a former homicide detective with decades of experience steps forward to examine the case. Could one of these hidden mine shafts hold the key to what really happened? Or has the truth been hiding in plain sight, overlooked amidst the rugged landscape and the confusion of conflicting reports? Before we jump into today's case, welcome to Detective Kate, True Crime, where every story matters and every clue counts. Let us know where you're watching from in the comments, hit like, subscribe, and turn on the bell to stay up to date on all our investigations. And don't forget, share your thoughts and theories below. Your insight could make a difference. To help us make sense of this baffling disappearance, we spoke with a former homicide detective who has spent over 25 years investigating complex cases across Australia. Throughout their career, they have handled high-profile missing person investigations, from urban disappearances to remote outback incidents, giving them a rare perspective on cases like Gus Lamont's. With decades of experience analyzing crime scenes and disappearances in remote areas, the detective brings a methodical, evidence-based approach to the mystery. They have studied the challenging terrain around Oak Park Station and Yunta, the locations where Gus was last seen, and can explain how mine shafts, scrubland, and uncharted areas complicate the search. In my experience, the detective explains, cases like this require patience, precision, and the ability to separate fact from speculation. Remote areas present unique challenges, and every clue, no matter how small, could be the key to solving the mystery of Gus Lamont. Gus Lamont, just 4 years old, vanished on September 27, 2025 from a remote homestead near Oak Park Station, approximately 40 kilometers south of Yunta in South Australia. The vast outback with its rugged terrain, hidden mine shafts, and isolated scrubland has made the search for Gus extraordinarily challenging. In the weeks following his disappearance, authorities launched multiple major search operations. These included aerial surveys, ground crews combing the terrain, drone inspections, and the involvement of volunteers and local defense forces. Even dams and mine shafts in the area were thoroughly inspected, yet the young boy remains missing. The former homicide detective explains, in cases like this, the environment itself can complicate investigations. Vast distances, unmarked hazards like mine shafts, and the extreme remoteness of locations such as Oak Park Station and the surrounding Yunta region make every step of the search more difficult. Detectives must rely on careful analysis, witness accounts, and an understanding of how a child could move through or become lost in these areas. One of the most pressing questions in the Gus Lamont case is the role of the region's mine shafts. Scattered across the rugged outback near Oak Park Station, these uncharted and often hidden openings pose serious dangers. But could they also hold the key to what happened to Gus? Authorities have inspected 6 known shafts in the area, ranging from partially collapsed tunnels to deep abandoned pits. Despite extensive searches using ground crews, drones, and thermal imaging, no evidence of Gus or his belongings has been found. The former homicide detective offers crucial insight. Mine shafts in remote areas are unpredictable. They can conceal objects or even people, but the terrain also makes access extremely difficult. When conducting searches like this, investigators must account for hidden entrances, unstable soil, and the possibility that a child could wander in and be difficult to locate. The detective continues, even with modern search technology, these shafts are challenging. It's why every detail matters, from the slope of the land to the wind patterns that could carry scent, and even the time of day when a child may have moved unnoticed. As the investigation unfolds, the mine shafts remain a focal point for both authorities and the public, raising the critical question, did Gus Lamont really fall into one of these treacherous openings? Or is the answer still hidden elsewhere in the vast Yunta region? Despite weeks of intensive searching, investigators have identified several critical gaps in the timeline of Gus Lamont's disappearance. Key moments when the young boy was unaccounted for remain unclear, and some witness accounts conflict with the official logs. The former homicide detective explains, in missing child cases, even small discrepancies can be crucial. A gap of a few minutes in the timeline, an unverified movement on the property, or missing footage from surveillance can create blind spots in the investigation. Search teams meticulously mapped the homestead and surrounding areas, yet certain sections, including dense scrubland and rugged slopes, were difficult to access. The detective adds, remote environments like Oak Park Station and the wider Yunta region can make it challenging to track movements even with drones and ground crews. That's why investigators rely on triangulating witness accounts, environmental clues, and any physical evidence. These gaps in the timeline not only complicate the investigation, but also fuel one of the most pressing questions. Could Gus have wandered into a mine shaft unnoticed, or did something else occur during the missing hours? Each unanswered moment keeps the mystery alive and underscores how difficult it is to solve cases in such remote terrain. One of the toughest challenges in the Gus Lamont case is separating speculation from evidence. While the remote mine shafts near Oak Park Station and throughout the Yunta region are a natural focus, investigators caution against jumping to conclusions without proof. The former homicide detective explains, it's easy for the imagination to fill in the gaps, but in missing person cases, we rely on tangible evidence. Proximity to a mine shaft doesn't automatically mean a child has fallen in. That's why every inch of terrain must be methodically examined and every lead verified. So far, searches of 6 known mine shafts combined with drone scans and ground crews have revealed no trace of Gus or his belongings. Yet, experts acknowledge that these areas are inherently difficult to fully investigate. The detective notes, mine shafts can conceal evidence in ways that are not immediately obvious. That's why investigators consider both the possibility and the probability. Evidence must guide the conclusions, not assumptions. Beyond the searches, timelines, and mine shafts, the disappearance of Gus Lamont has deeply affected his family and the broader community. The uncertainty, the waiting, and the unanswered questions weigh heavily on those closest to him. The former homicide detective explains, in cases like this, the emotional toll on families is immense. Parents and relatives endure daily stress, hope, and heartbreak. Understanding the human impact is crucial for investigators, because emotional testimony can often provide insights that help guide searches and interviews. Gus's family has been closely involved with the authorities, providing detailed accounts of his routines, habits, and the circumstances of that fateful day near Oak Park Station. Volunteers and community members have joined the search in Yunta and surrounding areas, showing remarkable support and determination to find him. While mine shafts and the immediate homestead have been the primary focus, investigators are also exploring every possible lead beyond the immediate area. The former homicide detective explains that remote regions like Oak Park Station and the wider Yunta area present unique challenges: vast terrain, unmarked hazards, and limited access make comprehensive searches a complex task. Authorities continue to use a combination of modern technology, drones, infrared imaging, and detailed aerial mapping alongside traditional ground searches to leave no stone unturned. Environmental analysis, including soil and water testing near key areas, is also part of the investigative toolkit. Public involvement remains a critical component. The detective notes, tips from locals, community reports, and anyone who might have seen or heard something unusual can be vital. In remote regions, sometimes the smallest piece of information is what moves an investigation forward. As the search for Gus Lamont continues, the mystery remains. Did he really fall into one of the remote mine shafts near Oak Park Station? Or is the answer hidden somewhere else in the rugged Yunta region? Despite weeks of careful investigation, advanced searches, and expert analysis, the truth remains just out of reach. The former homicide detective reminds us, in cases like this, every lead matters. One small clue could completely change the course of the investigation. Patience, attention to detail, and collaboration between authorities and the community are key. The story of Gus Lamont is far from over, and every observation, tip, and theory could bring the investigators closer to answers. We want to hear from you. What do you think might have happened? Share your thoughts and theories in the comments, and help shine a light on this enduring mystery.